Why we're so threatened nowadays is because everyone realizes it's this triple crisis of peak oil, climate change, and it's called ecological crisis, basically that, you know, the earth can't sustain us. And we're seeing the effects of all these things. So everyone's running around, you know, trying to figure out how to solve this problem. And a lot of times that's falling on the back of Indigenous peoples. I work for the Indigenous Environmental Network. I've been working there for 2 years. IEN does a lot of environmental justice work, so we have programs, or have had programs, focused on water issues, focused on hard rock mining issues, focused on like food sovereignty, focused on globalization, and I work specifically on energy and climate change, which energy is pretty broad too, so it includes like communities being affected by oil and gas and uranium mining and power plants and things like that. Within our program we have 5 staff people. There's Clayton Thomas Mueller. He's working specifically on that issue, the tar sands issue in Alberta. And then we have Candy Mossett, who does the Tribal Campus Climate Challenge. And then we have Faith Gimmel. She now staffs a network in Alaska called the Red Oil Network. And Red Oil stands for Resisting Environmental Destruction on Indigenous Lands. Shauna Larson is starting to do work with the Red Oil Network, specifically on mining issues, because there's a big mining boom in Alaska again. So, and then I'm like the other person who Tom says, well, you're the glue, you know, so my role is to try and keep everybody connected. I work with Indigenous people all throughout the US and Canada, so to try and give them skills. So I support their on-the-ground organizing. And that could be anything, like it could be, you know, we need someone to make a fact sheet for us. We need $500 here, can you get us $500, you know? We need someone to come do some media training. Then I can go do that, or I can find someone or hook them up with someone who does that, you know? So I'm just kind of that person who helps out, also in terms of advice, giving strategic advice. The way that we approach it is to go into a community, if we're invited, and do some basic training and education to help them to start develop their own campaign and push it forward. We went there last summer, or 2 summers ago, not this past one, but the one before. This is an example of something that we did to do this thing that we call our Power Action Camps, which is like education and also strategizing with the community to help them to develop a campaign and move forward. And so we went out there. Ponca, Oklahoma is, and Ponca City, which is just, you know, 20 miles or less from the res, is the international headquarters of ConocoPhillips. And Oklahoma is the first place in the United States and the world that oil development was really done at a very massive scale. So a lot of things are really, it's just really bad there. The environment and health is really bad there. Like Casey's brother Dwayne, this guy named Dwayne Camp, there's a video, and I think you can find it on YouTube, where one of the issues there is the water table is so high right there. It's like less than 20 feet below the surface. It's like right around 10 to 12 feet below the surface. And so the water is very contaminated. And he did this little video where he just dug into the ground and took out some of the water, which is all oily, and puts it in his lawnmower, and his lawnmower works. Like, that's how polluted it is. Yeah. And there's this other facility there. Well, they have, like, you know, it's oil refining, but also they have like coal mining there and coal-fired power plants there. And then they also have this other facility, which is a major concern for them, which is called the Carbon Black facility, which basically, it's like some Taiwanese owned company that basically takes all the crap from the oil refining process and burns it to create some type of material that they can use for, like, you know, asphalt or tires and stuff like that. And it's really messed up because if you walk around there, everything, like the ground, the buildings, the land, is all covered with a layer of black. It's really gross. Yeah, you just walk around there. And there's signs like in shop windows that says, no carbon black shoes. Because if you're just walking around and then you go into a store, you'll leave like black marks and it's hard to clean off. So I tell you to take your shoes off before you go in there. So yeah, it's really bad. And another link is that they're planning to increase oil refining there using oil from the tar sands. That's one of the hubs of the tar sands.